Hello, YouTube. Good afternoon from Indonesia. I am Gema Goeyardi, and today this will be social medias, and we're going to talk about Indonesia aviation safety issues. Since we know that in the past 2-3 days, we can find that a lot of Indonesian media asking everyone about Indonesian safety issue, because some of international media send like allegation that Indonesian safety become really problems, the worst place to take a flight in the world, in the Asia. So today's presentation, hopefully we can bring a better view, a fairer data as a balance. Then public will see that we are not that bad. Okay, I'll bring some data then can give you a better picture about Indonesia aviation, especially in the safety issue. All right, I hope some friends from Indonesian and media and also international media, they can have a better understanding, and for the next period they can give a better or more detailed data about whatever they have in their mind. Like maybe we're on the maybe now at the worst rank in Asia, I don't know, right? But we cannot say that we are in a good situation, since the data also proves that we are at the 8th rank of the worst accident. Let's take a look at some data that I have. I'll share the screen to you. All right. Okay, so let's get started. I really wish some friends from international media now is attending this conference. Okay, so is Indonesia the worst place to take a flight? I believe it is not that bad. Okay, so I'm Gema Goeyardi. I'm FAA flight instructor, Citation 5 jet captain, and founder of 14-Day Pilot Flight Academy. And 2019, we are also active as FAA safety training provider. And today, the main topic is about the issue. Some media, some international media say that why Indonesia is the worst place to take a flight. I don't know why. Why on earth you say that Indonesia is the worst place to take a flight? That's my question to you. Okay, that's the Indian Express, and I don't really know how can they even mention that we are the worst place to take a flight. So the disclaimer of this video, okay, this presentation is for education purposes only and has no obligation or liability to Indonesia aviation regulator nor any aviation associations. The main goal of this conference is to provide, sorry for that, is to provide a better and fairer opinion against international media allegation regarding Indonesia safety issues. There was a typo here. Okay, we have no responsibility for the data provided and not recommend this presentation to be used for any decision making. Expect potential inaccurate data, and we advise to double check with any other source. All right. Now, the fact, okay, Indonesia is one of the EMDC, emerging market and developed country, who experienced rapid acceleration in its aviation industry growth for the past 10 years, sits in the 8th rank of the world highest aviation accident. But the next question will be, is Indonesia the worst place to fly in Asia, just like the media state? Okay, let me fix this. So I'll give you this picture, no editing, no anything. So this is just like a very transparent conference. We're gonna talk about this. Is Indonesia the worst place to fly in Asia, in the world, or any place? Because in the previous media, if you can see, the headline is very clear that why Indonesia is the worst place to take a flight. Compared to who? We need a comparison. We cannot just say that Indonesia is the worst place, right? Now, let's pull out some another news here. This week in Asia, because of the Sriwijaya Air flight crash, now they say that why is Indonesia the deadliest place in Asia for plane crashes? Are you sure? Because you can see another thing, right? Why Indonesia is the worst place to take a flight? That's also another news from Indian Express. Wow. Why on earth this media so fast to conclude that Indonesia is the worst place to take a flight? Being number 8 doesn't mean that we are the worst, right? How about this? Previously, 2018, I mean, Lion Air 737 MAX crash, all right? And the media say, does Indonesia have an air safety problem? Dude, the crash just happened and suddenly all the media say, international media, they sent a strong and serious allegation that Indonesia have an air safety problems. Lion Air crash is throwback Indonesia scary aviation record. Okay, the Lion Air crash is throwback to Indonesia's scary aviation record. And we know that after that, in like few months later, everybody know that 737 MAX has a problem on its MCAS. So flow analysis, fail oversight by regulator, how Boeing, FAA certified the suspect 737 MAX flight control system. But what did the media say after the crash? Okay, Indonesia has a bad pilot, Indonesia has a bad safety culture, the maintenance was bad, okay? Without any tolerance to the accident. Just suddenly say like that. But being said the fact, we can see that after that, a few months later, finally Boeing and FAA, they declare that there's some problems on the 737 MCAS. Okay, so I believe it's a little bit too fast and a little bit too reckless to say that Indonesian safety has scary aviation record. Indonesia having air safety problems. Okay, so the main issues will be unfair judgment from media. So from my friends, international journalists, please read and listen to this. Whatever you write down doesn't help at all, because what you wrote, I mean, is only an allegation that Indonesia has very poor safety. That is unfair judgment from you guys without doing more research. You just pull out the data from Aviation Safety Network because we are under 8th rank, and you don't put anything to that consideration to say that we're under very, very scary aviation record. Okay. And number 2, the trend and growth on this country, okay, in the aviation industry are not count. And number 3, we believe that you guys too early to blame. I don't know who's your source. You may talk with EASA, you may talk with the FAA, you may talk with other regulations, but I believe that's too early to blame that Indonesia aviation safety is that bad, right? Because the 2018 show you a very strong proof that all the media did a huge mistake to allocate that Indonesia has bad safety issue, because Max was the one who should be responsible on the 737 MAX crash, Lion Air Ethiopian crash, right? And most news are discredit Indonesia without any motivation to a better circumstances. And that's the fact. Okay. What we think, This is what I think. The average comparison is the better way to evaluate. The average comparison is the better way to evaluate, guys. Using the world average versus individual country is the best way to value the safety of each country. You cannot just say because we are number 8 in the aviation safety network, then we are the worst country to make a flight. That's not wise. Number 2, safety growth is more important than just a safety rank. Looking at the safety growth is most useful solution to accelerate safety performance, right? Rather than stuck in the fixed rank. Okay, let's say you're in the 8th rank. So what? Don't they think that Indonesia makes a lot of improvements? And number 3, safety comparison must be apple to apple. We believe that the more frequency, this is my assumption, okay? More frequency, more flight frequency, okay, and shorter flight range a country has, the higher risk could be made. That's my theory. It's like a linear. The higher you fly, the higher risk that you will get. You cannot say that in Asia, we can compare Indonesia and Singapore. It's completely different. How many flights a year comparing between Indonesia and Singapore? And most of the time, Singapore's it does like a long hour flight with the jumbo jet for like 10 hours, 15 hours flight, comparing with Indonesia, who has like very short flight range. It's not apple to apple. So I don't think that they can say in Asia, we have very bad aviation safety record. No, right? So let's take a look based on the Statista. You can go to the website of Statista. At least this is the best data that I can get. Indonesia domestic flight departure frequency on 2019 is about 729 million departure. So that's the source of Statista. I'm not sure if you have better data, please leave a comment and share, okay? But at least for now, we can see that this is the best data. 729 million. All right. Okay, let's see. And what happened next? Let's compare Indonesia domestic flight departure frequency with, all right. I'm sorry, this is USA, okay? The USA flight departure frequency, the source data is FAA. The data mentioned below are the flight under instrument flight rules versus the visual flight rules by the National Airspace of United States. There are 27.6 million flight in 2019. Okay. Comparing to Indonesia is 729 million departure in 2019. It's so far away, okay, considering this data are correct. So we got so much different between this number, between Indonesia and United States. This is the how United States IFR and VFR domestic ATC control, okay, they handle the traffic. Now, let's take a look to all accidents based on the IATA, the jet and turboprop aircraft. Globally, since 2010 until 2019, we can see that the trend is weakening. It means there's not the oscillation of the accidents or the trend of the accidents, we can say, is moving in the bearish trend, if you understand about the trend. So we can say that this is like a downward trend of aviation accidents. We can see a lot of improvement in global accident record. Okay. Now, another data from IATA, the number of passenger carried and fatality ratio per passenger carried. We can also see a divergence between these both data. The passenger carries from 2010 to 2019 is, I think, growing more than 50%. Like here is about 200 and now it's 300. So it's like 50% growth on the passenger carry. But the fatalities per billion passengers also moving in a downward trend. All right. So by looking at this data, a lot of improvement is in global aviation safety record. Now let's take a look to the accident category. Like I mentioned before in my previous video, we got loss of control, hard landing, other end state, runway excursion. That's happened in 2019, including fatalities. Yeah. So the fatalities means that we have a total loss on the airplane and also casualties. People died because of this. The loss of control, 191 fatalities. That's why in my previous video about the Sriwijaya Air, we can say that potentially the type of accident was loss of control, because you know that this is a trend, right? And we should wait from the NTSC to do their job, like investigation. And one of the example is the Silk Air Flight 185. Okay, we cannot see that Indonesia is the worst, because in Singapore they also have Silk Air Flight 185. The loss of control is pretty much similar with the Sriwijaya. What happened to Sriwijaya? Singapore authorities say that it could be a suicide mission from the pilot in command, but NTSB finally found there was a problem in the rudder. I don't know. I'm not discussing about that now, but we know loss of control happens everywhere. Doesn't mean it's only in Indonesia. The most common accident category was a runway taxiway excursion, 74, followed by in-flight damage, 39, hard landing, 38, gear up landing and collapse, 38. This is most common accident. If you see this image, this is Singapore Airlines flight 006 in Taiwan. Took off wrong runway, the runway was closed, the visibility was so poor. Then the Boeing 747 took off and finally hit the crane. Everybody died. I believe so. So just correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Another accident category, loss of control in flight, LOCI, was the most common fatal accident. The single accident category had 19 fatal accidents over the reporting period and was responsible for 780 deaths. Oh my God. And you know, when India say that Indonesia is the worst place to fly, I also got from India today, Air India plane crash survivors recount final moment before crash. Air India plane was out of control. We felt it breaking into two. I didn't read any investigation, but at least that's what media said. It means not only Indonesia, dude, even in India, you have that problem. So what's the matter with you, right? The top three latent condition contributing accidents were regulatory oversight, like Pakistan airline, fake pilot exposed to fly dead Pakistan and crash. Regulatory oversight, including 737 MAX, the same. That happened in India, in Pakistan, not in Indonesia. Okay. Now, what was happening in Indonesia? The top environmental and airline threats were adverse weather conditions, wind shear, gas, airport facility, and aircraft malfunction. What happened here was Garuda Indonesia flight from Lombok to Yogyakarta and got severe weather condition, struck by hail, both engine fail, but Indonesian pilot, they have great quality, land that 737-400 in Bengawan Solo River without any engine in pretty damn bad weather. If you are saying that Indonesian pilot is bad, okay, how about this? This accident proves that we have great pilot as well. The most common measures absent in accidents were overall crew performance, followed by monitor, cross-check, and in-flight decision fixation, and they are lack of decision making. This is the worst in aviation history. The Tenerife accident, both 747 Pan Am and KLM crashed together in a runway. How about that? Okay, this could be a problem. It's not only in Indonesia. This is the worst accident as well. Now, let's pull out the data from IKEA, okay? This is what I'm telling you about the growth is more important than a fixed rank. This is the growth. Let's compare Indonesia and the world accident rate. The gray line is the world accident per million departure, and the blue, this is the line for Indonesia accident rate. We can see since 2008 we had increasing accident, and what happened that time, the regulator shut down some airlines who finally proved that they have very poor safety management issue. They never comply with the procedures. Then finally, the DGCA shut down that airline operation, revoked their airline certificate. And now, after 2010 until 2019, so we are not considering 2020 as a number because the COVID-19 nobody flight that much, right? So no accidents. That's very common sense. So from 2009 to 2019. The trend dropped significantly, right? It's very clear. And since 2018, we're moving below the world average. What happened with that? So it means that our safety management issue is not that bad because we're moving below the average. The accident itself since 2009 until 2019 is very steep downward movement. This is what we call like a bearish trend in the price chart, right? It shows that the accidents consistently and aggressively decreasing. It means Indonesia regulator already did their job, this great job. We are moving below average and consistently moving in the downtrend on the accident level here, accident numbers. All right, but we will also see the fatal accident by risk category. The highest numbers of accident in Indonesia is because of loss of control. That's why in my previous video, why I said that this is not controlled flight into terrain, but this is the loss of control in flight. Because that's exactly what the IKEA said. The green bar here showing that the most common accident in Indonesia since 2011, 2014, 2018, that's all loss of control in flight. The black one is controlled flight into terrain. The blue one is the runway safety, like runway incursion, runway excursion. The yellow one is other. I believe this is like a maintenance issue or the weather, right? But as you know, the weather can lead to the control flight into terrain or the loss of aircraft control in flight. But the data prove that this is the weakness of Indonesia. Yeah, we have to admit it. Loss of control happened everywhere. Almost every accident in 2011, most of the time is loss of aircraft control. But we're not the worst because we are moving under the world now. We are below that world average. Okay. How about India? I'm really interested to talk about India. So the accident rate in India, we have to admit that they are doing their job very well. Since 2016 until now, they're also moving below the world average. But if you see the trend, 2008 to 2019, they're moving sideways. Okay, let's compare to Indonesia. Indonesia is consistently moving downward. The risk year by year is decreasing. But India even though they're moving below the average, but they're moving in a big sideways range. It means it's so volatile. The regulator is likely cannot control the accident rate that happened in India. I don't know why. Based on the IKEA data, I can say that Indonesia is better, and India media, maybe they're a little bit too fast to conclude that Indonesia is the worst place to fly in the world or even in Asia. Okay, they should talk with their own aviation regulator and open and pull out this data and talk about themselves. The runway safety issue become there wasn't loss of control. I don't know, maybe runway incursion, runway excursion. You can find out about the accident factors in India. Regardless, the casualties. Okay, I don't agree because it's not fair. Different airplane, different passengers rate. So we just talk about the accidents itself. How about Singapore? This small country has pretty stable accident rates, pretty low. Somehow it spiked in 2010, 2012, spike here, 2014 to 2017, spike here. And since 2017 to now, there's no accident. I believe we can also learn from Singapore. Okay. This beautiful data here. Sometimes it moves above the average, sometimes here is 2010, 12, right? You can see it like twice in the past 12 years. But overall, we can say the average is moving below that word, average. How about China? This is the beautiful data that we can get. The China accident rate is always below that word average. Amazing. 2008 to 2020 is always moving below the average, and this is how they provide the data, the IKEA. You can see 2016 to 2018, the accident number was increasing, and after that dropped down significantly. What happened with Hong Kong? I think Hong Kong one of the best, right? You can see that Hong Kong since 2011, no accident at all, and the accident rate is almost perfect. We can say 80 to 90% is always below that word accident rate, and there was no accidents in 2011. That's amazing. How about Philippines? The same, it's moving in the sideways movement. 2008 is moving above the average, going down, getting better in 2011, 2012 moving above the average, going down again. So volatile. I don't know how the regulator can manage this. Okay. Thailand, how about this? The same. 2018 is even higher than the world average. It just dropped down below the average in 2019. I think Indonesia is better than this. See the graph, okay? Let me pull out again Indonesia graph if you want to see. It's consistently going downward year by year, and the 2018 was the first time Indonesia enters the best safety records ever since 2008 because it's moving below the average, right? Let's back to Philippines and Thailand. And how about Thailand? No, it's 2019. And even there's no like consistent downward on the number. Now, the USA, wow, that's amazing. As you know, the accident rate in USA for 2019 is still higher than the average, higher than the world accident rate average. 2019, it has 39 accidents for scheduled commercial flight on airplanes below 5.7 tons only. Okay. This is the fact, guys, that Indonesia is not the worst on the safety records. Even United States, where the FAA belongs to, it has higher than Indonesia on the accident rate. Surprise, right? How about the Europe Union? The Europe Union showing the downward on the accident rate, but still higher than the average. So basically, we're better than Europe Union, right? We're better than the United States. We're better than the Europe Union. But why they ban us? And why there's nothing from Indonesia regulator argue and talk with them? Okay, we're really happy if Indonesia can talk and show what we got now, because based on the data, we have very active, very high frequency of flights, but our accident rate is way below United States and European Union. Right? So my final thoughts and recommendation: Indonesia aviation is not the worst, but Indonesia has plenty of room to improve. As a young emerging market, okay, and developing country. Let me fix this for you. If you want this data, I can share it to you. I'll share it to you. You can call our numbers, and I'll share this PowerPoint. Okay. As a young emerging market and developing country, Indonesia aviation will grow significantly in the next 10 years. I believe so. The rapid acceleration of aviation industry should be balanced with quality and safety improvement. We believe with the continuous support from FAA and EASA, Indonesia will learn more to improve their aviation safety. Yes, we are number 8, but we're showing a progress. We are not the worst place to fly in Asia. No, Thailand is worse than us. Malaysia, one of the best. Okay, Singapore is one of the best. Hong Kong is great, but we're not the worst. The controlled flight into terrain and loss of control in flight are the highest accident category. We see both civet and lock are possibly the highest accident category in Indonesia. Therefore, we think deeper upset recovery training for the airliners and improvement on ATC radar with advanced weather radar facility will significantly reduce the accidents and will make all the airnav people, the ATC in Indonesia, happy because they can get a new facility. They can see the thunderstorm. They can see the cumulonimbus through their radar. So I guess when you listen to this and pass this webinars conference to Indonesian government, maybe they will listen to this webinar and take action. They will give like a new advanced weather radar and promote more safety by doing deeper upset recovery training, because based on the data, the loss of control got very high number as the factors in Indonesia accidents, aviation accidents, right? Number 3, my final thought is the fairer justification. We strongly suggest the international media to have a fairer justification on its accident. The biggest misleading allegation on Indonesia's safety was in 2018, guys, during the 737 MAX tragedy. Spreading fear will never help. There are many ways to make a story of aviation accident. Spreading the fear will never help Indonesia to improve their safety and quality, instead trigger more chaos. So what's the point? Are you being paid to say that Indonesia is really bad country to fly? Because the data shows otherwise, right? What really happened in Indonesia regarding safety, safety performance, educations, and what the DAAO, Directorate of Airworthiness and Aircraft Operation Indonesia, has done. In August 2019, I was there. I was invited by the DAAO to attend their regular safety seminars. More than 10 safety workshops or similar activities were held in Indonesia during that year. In 2019 era, our former director of DAAO, Captain Rianto, supported by Mrs. Polana, our DGCA Director General for Aviation, I know for sure they're consistently promoted safety for aviation stakeholders. Why? How do I know? Because I was invited. They invited me to join on its safety seminars. So I believe that more than safety workshops were held that time. That's why this happened since 2018, 19. That's why you can see the number of accidents really drop. I really love what they have done during 2018 and 2019. they're really serious to promote the safety. Okay, because that it is what it is. That's the fact. And this is the event. If you want to see it, this was me here standing there. That's a proof. I mean, I was there. I learned, and I know that Indonesia made a lot of progress. Okay. What next? As FAA safety training provider representative, 2020, we conduct the free safety training seminar. Okay, we work together with Indonesia Polytechnic of Aviation, Curug. Curug is a state-owned flight school. It's very old, very professional, very famous. So we conduct like comparison study about the safety, like making a seminars together to promote the safety held by 14-day pilot flight academy, attended by instructors and also the pilot student pilot from Curug. So this is one of example how 14-day pilots, especially me, I'm Indonesian and I'm FA pilot instructors, and we also training provider for safety. We really concerned about this. There's no one can say that we are a perfect pilot. We know how to fly well. No, because we are human. We have a human factor. We always do the same mistake. We do the mistake like over and over and over again. That's why the safety campaign, safety workshop is the most crucial and the most important to improve our country safety culture, right? So that's all, guys. I really hope that the data that I provide will give you a better understanding, fairer judgment that Indonesia, we are not the worst place to fly in the world. Thank you very much, and feel free to visit our website, 14-day Pilot Flight Academy, and you can ask this presentation. I will share it for you. Thank you very much, and